Hello viewers, this is Anuradha Chaudhary, fitness and wellness expert from Kolkata. Stroke is leading cause of death and disability in the world, only behind heart attack and cancer. 1 in 6 people suffer from stroke in their lifetime. Among people aged 40 or more, 1 in 4 develop stroke. World Stroke Day is celebrated on October 29th every year to raise awareness about risk factor, symptoms, preventive strategies, and treatment of stroke. To discuss more about stroke, we have with us Dr. Sudhir Kumar, consultant neurologist at Apollo Hospital, Hyderabad. Welcome, doctor.
Thank you, Anuradha, and welcome viewers.
Doctor, what are the symptoms of stroke?
Yes, I think today we have gathered to discuss about stroke. As Anu has already mentioned, it's a leading cause of death and disability in the world. So to diagnose stroke correctly, we should be aware of the stroke symptoms. And stroke commonly causes paralysis, as we all know. In Hindi, it's called lakwa. So what are the main symptoms of stroke? So we can remember this by remembering this acronym called FAST, F-A-S-T. In this, the F stands for the face, where one person may have drooping of face or asymmetry of the face. A stands for arm. If the person is asked to raise the arm, we can see that one side arm is drooping or it's weak on one side. S stands for speech, where the person can have slurred speech, difficulty in speaking or understanding the spoken words. So when somebody has any of these symptoms, and then T stands for time. So stroke is a medical emergency and the treatment should be given in the first few hours. That is called the golden hours to achieve the best outcomes. And some uncommon symptoms can be imbalance while walking or even sudden dimness of vision or sudden severe headaches.
You mentioned that timely treatment of a stroke is important. Can you tell in detail what emergency treatments are available?
See, timely treatment is important because stroke is a medical emergency, and as you know, brain is a very fragile structure. It's very sensitive to ischemia, that is lack of blood flow, and hypoxia, that is lack of oxygen supply to brain. And with every minute delay in stroke treatment, millions of brain nerves can die. And as you know, the brain nerves, once they get damaged, they don't recover completely. That damage can be permanent. So we have to initiate treatment in the first few hours, to be precise, in the first 4.5 hours after the symptoms begin. And the treatment we are talking about is called thrombolysis, or also called as clot buster therapy, where we inject the injection in the vein, and then the injection, the medicine goes to the brain blocked artery, it dissolves the clot, and then the person's brain can recover and the functions also can recover. And all this should be done in the first few hours. And that is why timely treatment is important.
What are the risk factors of stroke?
And as we all know that prevention is better than cure, and once we know the risk factors of stroke, we can take care to prevent strokes. And these risk factors can be classified into two groups: modifiable, those are the risk factors we can take care of them, we can control them; and non-modifiable, where we can't do much, but we should be aware of them. So modifiable risk factors for stroke, they are the common lifestyle diseases like diabetes, hypertension, that is high blood pressure, high cholesterol, any heart disease, and then some of the other things like obesity or being overweight, sedentary lifestyle. So many people just sit the whole day. Many jobs require sitting for long duration. That itself is a risk factor, because now we know that sitting, prolonged sitting is like smoking. So they have equal morbidity and mortality. And then somebody who doesn't exercise also can be a risk factor. Smoking itself is a major risk factor. Excess alcohol consumption also can be a risk factor. And today's lifestyle puts a lot of stress and anxiety, and we know that stress also can be a major risk factor. So these are all the modifiable risk factors. We can take care of them, control them. And the non-modifiable risk factors are positive family history. So if parents or if siblings have suffered strokes in the past, then the person also has a higher risk of getting stroke. Older age group, so with advancing years in the older elderly population, the risk of stroke is higher. And of course, male gender, also is at a higher risk. So these groups, they require more precautions to preventive strategies so that they can prevent strokes in the future.
Doctor, we are facing the COVID-19 pandemic across the world now. Does COVID infection increases the risk of stroke?
Yes, I agree. I know that COVID-19 has been unprecedented, burden it is this the burdens that have been posed, challenges that have been posed due to COVID-19 have never been seen in the last century, because the previous pandemic happened in 1918, the Spanish flu pandemic. And COVID-19 infection, it directly is linked to the stroke because it causes inflammation, and also it makes the blood hypercoagulable, means the blood becomes thick and viscous, so that the clots can form in various parts of body like lungs, limbs, and even brain. If a clot forms in the brain, it can lead to stroke. So COVID-19 can directly increase the risk of getting stroke, especially in those people who have other risk factors like diabetes, high blood pressure, older age, or heart diseases. They need to be more careful because the risk of strokes can be higher. Other thing we have to remember is that COVID-19 can cause strokes even in younger population who have no risk factors, because directly because of the inflammatory effects of the COVID-19 infection. And then not to forget that today all the healthcare is geared towards taking care of COVID patients. So it is possible that when a stroke patient comes to the hospital, the doctors and the nurses and the healthcare infrastructure may not be ready to take best care. But we have to ensure the best care for even COVID-19 cases with stroke, because outcomes can be better and the treatment protocols are same. Whether the patient has COVID or no COVID, the treatments what we give for stroke are same, and they work best in the first 4.5 hours. So now that we have discussed so much about treatments and prevention, obviously prevention is better than cure. So now, and you have been asking me questions. Now let us turn and let me ask you some questions also. And I will ask you about the physical activity, because you are a fitness expert and trainer. So what advice would you give to general public so that they can do the exercises to prevent or reduce the risk of getting stroke?
Physical activity reduces the risk of hypertension, diabetes, depression, and obesity, which are well known risk factors. 30 minutes moderate intensity aerobic exercises like cycling, brisk walking, swimming, running, etc. will help. And 30 minutes non aerobic therapeutic exercise like meditation, yoga, which reduces blood pressure and stress, are suggested.
Okay, so I think that's very useful, because exercise is something everyone should do, and this can make them healthy and as well as prevent the risk of stroke. And very closely linked to physical activity is our diet. That is something we do every day. We eat several times in a day, so it's important what we eat. And you are a nutrition expert also, so from you I would like to know what are the dietary advice you would give to general public so that they can reduce the risk of getting stroke and also the risk factors that lead to stroke.
Healthy and nutrient rich food that are good for your heart, diabetes, obesity, and brain can prevent stroke. In that, we can include fruits and vegetables. Fruit and vegetables have high content of fiber, vitamins, minerals, as well as potassium. Food high in potassium, like sweet potato, banana, tomatoes, prunes, melons, and soybean, should be included. That will help to maintain blood pressure because it has high content of potassium. Magnesium rich food like spinach, which again lowers the risk of stroke. Fish, which has omega-3 fatty acids, keeps your blood pressure and cholesterol low and keep your heart healthy. Whole grain is also suggested because whole grain has high fiber, vitamin B like folate and thiamine, magnesium, and iron. Low fat dietary again suggested reduces heart disease and type 2 diabetics and blood pressure. We should also reduce the intake amount of salt in our diet. We should be 1500 mg, that is half teaspoon. Eating a diet full of heart healthy food will prevent stroke. Doctor, what are the problems faced by stroke survivor?
Yes, I think we should not forget the care after stroke patients are discharged. So initially, when a stroke patient comes to the hospital, all the acute and emergency treatments they are done in the first few days. And average duration of stay in our hospital we find is about 3 to 4 days. And most patients get discharged to home or a rehab center within the first week itself. And that is where we have to focus, because many stroke survivors they are left with multiple disabilities, and if I have to list them, one of them will be motor disability. So they will have weakness of the hand and leg. They also have imbalance when they walk. They often require support, wheelchair ambulation, or even a walker or a family member support to walk. The next will be sensory disturbances. Many of them are left with pain on one half of the body. Some of them can also have speaking problems. They cannot understand, they cannot speak, and not to forget the effect on the brain memory functions and dementia. So post-stroke dementia, some of them can also have seizures and epilepsy. So these are the medical issues that they deal with. And then we have to look at also the impact on the social life and the personal life. And as you know that care of stroke survivor is a full-time job, and one family member almost has to engage several hours per day to take care of them, and that can be taxing because today most people are also having jobs to take care of their own jobs, own family members, children, and then at the same time mostly a person who's having stroke and paralysis can be a full-time job. They can also suffer from anxiety, stress, and depression, so their health also should be looked at. And finally, I would like to highlight the financial aspect of it. So today we know that medical costs and treatments are expensive, so a lot of money is spent on that. A person with stroke, because of the disability, many of them they cannot go back to the job soon, several weeks to months they cannot function, they cannot work, so that also leads to financial stress. And so these are the multiple things people face, and if we are aware of these we can take care of them, and patients, stroke survivors, they can have better life. So I think having looked at these problems, we are seeing that the major problem seems to be in motor disabilities, speech problems. So Anu, from you I would like to know, what is the role of physiotherapy, rehabilitation, and speech therapy in taking care of these stroke survivors?
Doctor, many stroke survivors are left with poor mobility, poor balance, decreased muscular strength, and paralysis as well as speech disorder. And all these leads to stress and depression. Exercise and physiotherapy help them to boost their mood, elevate depression, improves brain health, relieve stress, enhance movement, balance, and muscular strength. Role of family member is also very important. When family members help their loved ones in post-stroke therapy, the patient shows fast improvement in balance, motor function, and in other general activities of daily life. We only need to give help, support, and proper care to them. Uh, we have discussed various issues related to stroke. Can you highlight the take-home message for our viewers?
Yes, I think we had a very good and elaborate session, and multiple things about stroke were discussed. So just to highlight the main things that we discussed. So first is stroke is a common, unfortunately common cause of disability and death, only behind heart attacks and cancer. So it's a real problem, and we need to do everything possible to reduce the cases of stroke. And if someone suffers from stroke, provide them emergency and the best care. So stroke symptoms can be easily recognized by if somebody has facial weakness, arm weakness, speaking problem, imbalance, then don't take it lightly. Rush to the nearest hospital which has a CT scanner, and it's a stroke ready hospital with a neurologist, because first few hours can make or break the life, whether the patient has a good outcome or not. And then in the COVID pandemic era also, we should not forget stroke care, because treatment of stroke remains emergency even in patients who have COVID infection, because it's a matter of losing life or even being disabled for several months to years. And we know we discussed about various physical activity measures and dietary measures that can be taken to reduce the risk of stroke. And the common lifestyle disorders like diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol, we have good medicines and good diet which can take care of them, and one should strictly follow them. HbA1c in diabetic should be less than 7. Blood pressure target should be 130 by 80 or less to prevent the risk of stroke. And of course, BMI we have to maintain normal. If someone smokes, they should completely stop smoking. Alcohol also is a risk factor. One should stop taking alcohol. Or if someone cannot do without alcohol, then keep it to the bare minimum which is recommended. And then stress is another risk factor we see in youngsters, that also should be minimized. So I think before it becomes again elaborate this thing, so with these few words we would like to close the session. And I think we enjoyed bringing this for you. I hope you all also enjoyed watching us and going through the topics what we discussed. We would be pleased if you have any comments, queries, and then please do write till we meet again. Anu, would you like to add something?
Yeah, thank you viewers for watching our video. If you really like our video, do like and subscribe our channel. Thank you, doctor. Thank you, viewers.
Thank you.